Could You podcast. I'm Lauren Tocci.
And I'm Ryan Tocci. Glad you can all be here for our cover of Emotional Knapsack.
Why do I feel like you had a mixed CD that was called that, unironically?
I was emo before emo existed.
Well, welcome everyone. We are two people who fell in love at a movie theater and never quite left.
And what better way to celebrate that than doing an episode about 10 seasons of a TV show?
An iconic 10 seasons of a TV show.
That's true.
Today we are going to be covering all 10 Thanksgiving episodes from the TV show Friends.
We can all be thankful for Friends.
Yes. But before we get there, we do have a little bit of a Tossi's tease for you.
Do we now?
Yes, we do. A whole new segment. A very quick segment. So we want you guys to mark your calendars for January 29th. We will be announcing shortly, but we maybe have a new and exciting opportunity for the podcast. We'll be filling you in on an upcoming episode or via our social media channels. So please stay tuned for more information.
Yeah, so because if you like listening to us in your cars, maybe you like seeing us live. Maybe.
Why did I just get filled with terror when you said that? Anyways, let's move on.
Taking this show on the road, people.
So instead of Tossi's takes this week, we thought we would do turkey takes.
Oh, yes.
Gobble,
we love
gobble.
alliteration.
I'm going to pretend I didn't just say gobble, gobble. I sounded like the women from the Peach Sweaty Balls, like SNL skit when I said that. But our turkey takes, we thought we would talk about, because we're going to spend this episode.
I'm thinking of that bit now.
Sorry. We realize we're going to talk a lot about the Friends Thanksgiving episodes. And they are, because they had essentially a Thanksgiving episode every single season and the show became so well known for it. And people really love those episodes and revisit them so frequently. But we also realize, they're not obviously the only show that has good, solid Thanksgiving episodes. They're just probably the most consistent use of Thanksgiving episodes, would you say?
Yes, I think consistent. I mean, I think they're the best. I'm going to say that right off the bat. But I think consistent is another good, I think it's a really good word there for it, because you have 9 out of the 10 seasons with really solid Thanksgiving-themed episodes.
And one that's... Well, we'll get there. So my Tossi's takes is from something we actually, or turkey takes is from something we watched for the first time this year. We watched all of the Thanksgiving episodes of the TV show The Goldbergs. So The Goldbergs is hilarious and such a fun nostalgic trip from our child.
I feel like you need to be yelling this while you talk about it.
There's a lot of yelling on the show, especially during the Thanksgiving episodes. But they are really funny. They're anachronistic at times in terms of their timeline. That is for sure. They always say it's sometime in the 80s, which I think is kind of funny. But they're really fun. There is a through line of a character, Uncle Marv, who is played by, oh gosh, the actor's name is escaping me.
Dan
Fogelman. Yeah. And he is so funny on every single episode. He plays just kind of this haphazard relative. It's very funny, and I can't...
He plays me as an uncle, doesn't he?
Okay, I wasn't going to say it on the episode, but 100%. Maybe minus some of the get-rich-quick schemes. I don't feel like
that's me if I didn't meet you, just for the record.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think if it was in your power, you would have a DeLorean like Uncle Marv.
Yeah, I mean, we're not far from it now.
But they're really fun. They're on Hulu. If you subscribe to Hulu, I recommend them. They're really, really funny. And Bev, who's the mom, always has this one great, very consistent joke that is in all of the episodes. And when it happens, it's just always really hits and it's funny. So I really recommend them.
I like that. I like that you threw that one out because it's very unexpected. And, it's not a show that we've watched a great deal, but that's the beauty, I think, of holiday-themed episodes of TV shows, where I think it can really hook people in and bring in an audience. Because I think who doesn't like a holiday-themed episode of something? It just feels nostalgic. It feels, safe and homely. I always like a good holiday
I do think
episode.
that hominess of something where a TV show is covering always feels kind of fun. But it is, you're right, because Bob's Burgers, that's how we started watching Bob's Burgers, was because it was their Christmas episode.
It was a Christmas episode.
Yeah, and that's how
but that's a good kind of segue, because Bob's Burger did some great Thanksgiving episodes too. They did the Indecent Proposal episode?
An Indecent Proposal.
Yeah, which is a really funny episode. I highly recommend. If you like the Bob's Burgers humor, obviously, and it's got one of the great songs ever with Pass the Cranberry.
Pass the cranberry sauce, having mashed potatoes.
And I don't know if this was talked about in last year's episode, but the National did a great cover of that. That's a great one. I have to say, even though they're it's going to be funny because I think they steal a little bit as shows from Friends, but New Girl does an excellent job with a lot of their Thanksgiving-themed episodes. I mean, when you get Jamie Lee Curtis on it and some other, Rob Reiner. And
the Rob Reiner, Jamie Lee Curtis, the first episode they're on where she tries to parent trap them at Thanksgiving time is hilarious.
Yeah. Even How I Met Your Mother did some really good. Slapsgiving is an iconic kind of Thanksgiving episode, so they did a really good job. There's been some good. My all-time favorite is WKRP in Cincinnati, which I can't tell you a ton about that show, but I can tell you that episode is hilarious. That
might happen this year. People may do the turkey drop from helicopters this year.
But if God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
But of course, we are here, all those episodes aside, we're here to talk about the very iconic Friends episodes. And we feel rather suited because last year we were the champions of a trivia competition hosted by Lehigh Valley's trivia master, Stephen Bost, who now is working under a new title called No Trivia, KNOW, Trivia. And he did a Friends Thanksgiving episode trivia night. It was just about the Thanksgiving episodes. And we kind of killed it, and I was really proud of us.
We were very proud. I think we retired from trivia after that.
I think we did, yeah.
We took home the title that evening. We were very proud. Probably, sadly, kind of too proud. Embarrassingly proud.
I think you said it during our Thanksgiving prayer over the meal.
Yes. I mean, it's still better than the year that I did, MC Hammer's Pray for a prayer instead of in lieu of a prayer. But let's...
That could have been a great Friendsgiving episode.
It would have been. I think people... Friends obviously is just enormous. It still is.
Yeah.
It goes... I don't even say it's hills and valleys. It's like hill and bigger hills of fandom for that show. So we're not really inventing the wheel by talking about our fandom. That's our weird trivia specialty is the Friends episode, the Friends Thanksgiving episodes. I mean, we are right now looking at a troll doll nailed to a 2x4 that literally was a gift you got me last year.
I hunted this Etsy shop because I felt like hers was the most accurate. Now, it does not look like it was at the bottom of a lake. It looks like probably when it was in, the Geller cup was in pristine condition.
Okay.
All right, a little bit. But can I tell you, for months and months and months, every time I would check, she never had the troll doll with the yellow hair.
Right, you got it.
Yeah.
Geller cup.
The Geller cup.
And it's got all of the years and who won every year. It's fantastic. It's one of the best, Thanksgiving gifts anybody's ever gotten me, because obviously Thanksgiving gifts are a thing, people.
Get on board.
And a Geller cup is what everybody should have. I'm sure that the Geller cup here will get an appearance with the cocktail of the week for this episode.
It will now.
The cocktail of the episode. It will now. So we are huge fans of this. We sit down like everybody, like Christmas season when everybody's got their movies that they have to watch. For us at Thanksgiving time, it's Home for the Holidays, which we talked about last year, and it is the 10 Thanksgiving Friends episodes.
Yes, because to me it does not feel like the holidays until we've watched all 10.
I'm with you. I gotta be honest with you, and we're gonna get probably right into, episode 1 here in a second, but I will say there is something that just feels Thanksgiving to me when the first episode's music plays.
Yeah.
It's just, I get very oh, okay, here goes. The holidays are starting. Halloween's over.
Yeah. Bye, Halloween.
We are in the Thanksgiving, pre-Christmas, time period, and I'm loving it.
Well, and I think that's the thing. It's like really wonderful conditioning, right? Because you just get so used to it. It's like it becomes a tradition. And so I think the best way for us to start this is because we're going to go episode by episode, but I kind of thought we could start with each of our top 5s. Because we can talk about about them in great detail, but I thought we should maybe set the stage for which ones are maybe our favorites.
I think that's fair, because I think as we're talking, you're gonna hear which ones are our favorites.
Yes.
So putting that at the end doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm with you. Let's start it out with a list. We love our list here at the How Could You podcast.
No honorable mentions, just your actual top 5.
Are we going to be doing recasting later in the show?
No.
Joey and Chandler are going to be played by Bill Hader and Ben Schwartz.
You know, because it's the holiday, I'm not going to get mad at you.
Thank you for that.
So I'll go first.
Thanks. For giving me that. Let's kind of get this out up front to our audience. If you're our fans that listen for the deep dive on the trivia and all the, inside facts and behind the scenes type stuff, this is not your episode.
Oh, we did no research.
Oh, there's no research. This is just, folks, you're in for just listening to us have a free talk about something that we just love and have a fandom for, and no structure whatsoever.
And weirdly quote, all the time, these episodes. Not Friends, we just weirdly quote these Friends episodes frequently. So with that, can we do each of our top 5s just to give, kind of a preemptive of, which ones are our darlings,
Absolutely.
our favorites? Would you like me to go first?
Yes, please do.
So in my number 5 spot, I have the one where Ross got high, which is season 6.
Nice, okay, yep.
My number 4 spot is season 1, the one where Underdog gets away.
Gotcha, nice.
My 3 spot is from season 3, the one with the football.
Ooh.
My second spot is season 5, the one with all the Thanksgivings.
Okay.
And my number 1 is season 8, the one with the rumor.
The one with the rumor. I knew where your number 1 was going.
Yeah.
So, great list. Actually, and I'll let you know, our top 5 are almost identical.
Are they really?
Not in order.
Okay.
There's one difference we have. But, so mine would be number 5, I'm going to go with the one where Ross got high.
Nice.
And this is where the difference for us is. I was going back and forth between that one and the one with all the Thanksgivings. But I went with there. Number 4, the one where Chandler is in a box.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, the one where Underdog got away. That starts us all off. Number 2, the one with the rumor. And my, personal favorite is the one with the football. So, if you don't know the Friends episodes, probably none of that means anything to you. But those of you that know, I'm excited to talk about these.
Yeah, but you knew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about all of them. And that's the thing I will say, even when I was ranking them, I mean, there is a clear one that is the least favorite among these, as we will get to. But I mean, they all have their merits.
That's funny that you say that, because that's not actually quite true. I think we're going to say it's the least favorite because of the Thanksgiving aspect of it. But from an episode standpoint, if you count it, people do lists, because a lot of, again, I'm big on lists, so I'll look them up. That episode gets highly ranked if they add it in. Most of the time, the lists are 9 episodes, and in this case, so, and again, we're going to talk about that when we get to that. I do want to just brag for a second, though, as well. I just want you to know that today I took a Friends Thanksgiving-themed BuzzFeed quiz. I'm just going to say I got 95%.
Of course you did.
95%. I was a little disappointed, though, that I got one wrong.
Why didn't you get the perfect score?
I got one wrong. I got the, which year wasn't one of the flashbacks in the episode from season 5?
Can you give me the 4 options?
87, 89, 1915, 1992.
Is it 89?
That's what I picked too.
Wait, what is
wrong.
it?
It was no, I'm sorry. No, you are correct.
Woohoo!
89 is not in it. That's right. I'm sorry. You were correct. I picked 92. 90.
Oh, 92 is when he gets the turkey stuck on his head.
He got the turkey stuck in his head. Yes. It was.
Get your head out of your ass, Ryan.
I thought that, but yes, I just, that's my brag for, because I'm, that's awesome, right? I get 95% better than most quiz takers on this. Yeah.
I just want you all to know he printed it out. I feel like it's important you guys know that, so you can see what I'm seeing now.
I just want Embassy Bank to know that that's what they paid me to do at some point today.
Moving on.
Please keep listening to the podcast, because we're going to need this income.
Oh, let's please talk about Friends before you get fired. So episode 1, the first ever Friendsgiving episode, is the one where Underdog gets away. I love this episode so much. It was actually hard not to have it higher on my list. I don't know if you feel similarly.
This should be a drinking game of how many times we just say love. Like, I love this. Yes, it starts out so strong.
It's so good because, well, one, it explains like a really important thing that you have to understand about the Friends TV series, why they never lock their doors. Just sheer trauma.
Yeah, right. It's true.
They're just like, we can't lock the door anymore because last time we did it was burnt the whole entire building to the ground, so we can't do that anymore.
So your recap, this is the episode where we find out Chandler hates Thanksgiving.
And we find out why.
Yes. We find Rachel's trying to get to Vale to see her family.
Swoop, swoop.
We have Monica's and Ross's parents are going away. Do you remember where they're going?
Puerto Rico.
Yes, good call. So that's why Monica starts making Thanksgiving dinner.
And she has to make mashed potatoes with the lums, tots, and mashed potatoes sauteed with peas and onions.
Yeah, okay. Let's get right into the heavy questions here.
Yes.
Who eats Thanksgiving tots?
I think they're visionaries. Wouldn't you like a little crispy tot? Not with dinner proper, but leftovers?
But
little piece of cranberry, little piece of turkey, and a tot?
The leftover is exactly that. You can't make something for it to be better as the leftover.
You don't eat the drumsticks at dinner.
No, I like to, at, midnight on Thanksgiving, sit in my pajamas and gnaw on a turkey leg.
I feel like we're giving them so much deep information about you.
Well,
they're being just like
what I'm here for. I'm here for my listening audience to open up.
And then you have it's then Ross's storyline is it's the first time that Ben kicks in the womb.
No, he's got to talk. He wants to know if he wants. Well, he does.
Well,
yes, you're right.
It leads to him
the kick.
kicking.
Yeah.
And then you have Phoebe's being Phoebe. Wait, what is Phoebe doing in this episode? Besides just being awesome.
She's just awesome. Yeah.
She wins every Thanksgiving
She's going to celebrate Thanksgiving later because it's lunar.
It's lunar. That's right, because her grandmother's boyfriend is lunar.
Yes.
Yes. And she's just very excited to be there.
All right, let's talk about how many potatoes did Monica have that she was able to keep pivoting. You get it? Pivot. To different types of potatoes every time.
No, okay, so this is actually a really good point because I thought to myself, she's a very prepared chef. Like, she has extras. You and I never have spares. If it gets cocked up, like, that is it. Like, there's nothing. I mean, maybe you running out to the store if I really botched something on Thanksgiving.
One year I had to run out to the store.
Why? What did I mess up?
I think we forgot something.
It probably was something significant. I can't think I would send you out for something small. But yeah, there is that kind of funny thing of like, and she makes a sizable amount of mashed potatoes because when she holds it up, it's burnt. One of my favorite moments on this episode is when they all really start yelling at each other because Monica and Joey are so mad at each other. I mean, it's because of his like disease, but like, they're
for syphilis and stuff.
What Mario isn't telling you. But like, I love like how angry they are at each other because I actually don't think you see them like that very much throughout the series where they're that kind of mad and yelling, but you can completely understand how frustrating this is for Monica. And then they're all just like sitting around, like kind of like just so sad and like nobody's moving or talking, but they're all still in that same space together because they're stuck there together. And
we talked about this before, about this, like, nostalgia of these episodes to us. And one of the moments that, again, I get these, like, weird holiday emotional feels is when Phoebe discovers ugly naked guy with ugly naked lady having Thanksgiving dinner.
Ugly naked gal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, when she says that sweet line, it's nice that he has someone.
Yeah.
I wrote that down and I was just like... So I'm going to say something now because I'm going to say it probably for Phoebe wins Thanksgiving every year to me. To borrow from the rewatchables, Phoebe Buffet wins Thanksgiving every single. To me, she is always the best part of the Thanksgiving episodes.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm going to say it.
That's a hot take.
It's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
She is consistently fantastic from episode to episode.
She's, again, consistent. I will give you that. She's the least complicated of all of the characters, I think, ironically enough, because she's so, out there.
She's in her own Phoebe landowner Phoebe thing.
But I don't know. I have to go with Joey.
You think Joey's the best?
I think Joey consistently, just throughout the Thanksgiving episodes, makes me laugh.
So, can we settle it? Can we just say Phoebe and Joey are the best?
Yeah, but I also, who I want to give credit rewatching it this year a lot with is, obviously she was on a sitcom for 10 years, so she is a comedic actress. Courtney Cox, I forget sometimes how funny she actually is. And you're talking about when they lose the keys,
yeah,
and she goes into her, kind of rant. Yes, well, only dogs can hear you now. She's just got a really good comedic timing. I think she's really funny, and a bunch of times throughout the these seasons, she has these really hilarious moments.
Well, and I think this is the thing. I think in many ways, the Thanksgiving episodes, I feel like they always hit their stride for the cast chemistry is always so fantastic. You get the feeling in every episode, these are people who have spent multiple Thanksgivings together. I find it to be some of the more genuine representations of their friendships, and then additionally some of the best comedic moments of friends, which is, why we're recording a whole episode just about this.
So let's run through some questions here I got for you, right?
Okay.
So we got to give out props to Terry, who shows up in this episode, who is the dad from Alf.
Looks like Doc Gilligan.
Yes, good teacher, Doc Gilligan. I agree completely. Rachel, who tries to fly to Vail on Thanksgiving?
Okay, yeah, I've always wondered about that because, one, they talk about, obviously, the hype of the holiday travel season is very real. But it always confused me because I'm like, what time is her flight? What time is she actually getting into Vail? Why wouldn't she be flying out on Wednesday? It really kind of doesn't make sense that she's flying out on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's her fault, but it's kind of her fault.
The girl that Mario, Joey, meets in the subway, she can't figure out that that's an advertisement and gets that offended.
Right, are you that dumb? And I mean that as mean as it's coming across, because I'm like, do you actually think the people in those ads have VD? Aren't you? Because, you get the sense that she's probably also an actress who's working in department stores, as a model. You get that sense, and then, how she reacts, oh, what do you have to do? Leave. You can't come up with a better line than that? Oh, it's terrible.
Did the apartment have no fire alarm? Because when they get back and the place is in smoke, there's not one fire alarm going off.
Yo, Traeger can't handle putting fire alarms in, too.
And the turkey, could it really have burnt that badly in that amount of time?
Well, and I was thinking about this actually when we were watching the episode, because I was like, with how burnt everything is, I'm like, I can't think you had the heat that high up on your potatoes. That seems dicey for mashed potatoes to begin with, no pun intended. And with the turkey, the only thing I'll say is there is a time lapse, so I don't know that we actually see how long they're out there. But
True.
Also, how long does it take them to go through all those damn keys? There is an aspect to it, I will agree. I don't buy that the turkey is that burnt by the time.
All right, so here's the big question, though.
All right, hit me.
Who's to blame? Who should have had the keys?
Monica.
Monica should have had the keys? Monica's to blame?
Monica.
I blame all things on Rachel.
You do hate Rachel Green. You would join the I hate Rachel Green club.
Rachel Green. Yeah, again, hot take here, folks. I am not a fan of Rachel Green. So, I'm with Will and Tataka Kayet.
We're getting to that episode. But no, I also think I think it's Monica's fault because, she's the last one who leaves the apartment. And look, in season 1, I don't think this feels this way later on in seasons, but I feel like there's still kind of it still feels like it's Monica's apartment more than Rachel's. I feel like Monica should have had the keys.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you. I think when you watch it, I think it sounds like I would have thought you had the keys.
Yes, because
although you and I cannot leave the house, apartment, wherever we live, without asking each other that every time and saying it that exact way. Got the keys?
Yeah, we do that all the time. Yeah, it's really a bit, and I think it's because I'm always paranoid I'm not going to have the keys.
And this also started our tradition of a day or two before Thanksgiving of having tomato soup, grilled cheese, and Funyuns.
A family size bag of Funyuns.
mega funny.
Yeah, it did kind of spark that weird tradition when really like it's around the time like whenever we do like our food store shop for Thanksgiving, and it's because of Friends. So starting and I love the underdog getting away. Just I know we never see it, but them describing it, I think it's just so funny, and like Phoebe's reaction, like, did they have to shoot him down? I mean, that's just mean. Like,
well, I think that's what we appreciate so much about the Friendsgiving episodes is, you know, you have the parade and the football and everything that comes with even your or my traditions on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah. So we all would have went to the roof to see Underdog flying, right?
I mean, yeah, that's tremendous. I try to catch it. But you saying that with this being so packed with like traditions of Thanksgiving. I think a lot of people's traditions for Thanksgiving and things you expect, and like kind of it's very Thanksgiving-y. The next episode is not. So this is episode 2 or season 2 episode, the one with the list. Of all the episodes, this is the least Thanksgiving based. Essentially only have one storyline that's contributing to that, which is Monica and the Mocklet. As Phoebe says, this must be what evil tastes like. Like it's essentially the only through line, and it's because this is a very significant Ross and Rachel episode.
Yeah.
It's a big episode in that like overarching storyline.
Yeah, it's a huge Friends episode.
Yeah, and it's a great episode. It's just not a Thanksgiving episode.
Who is the cameo? Because Friends becomes big on their cameos on their Thanksgiving episodes. Who's your cameo in this one?
Michael McKean.
Nice. Perfect.
And he is hilarious.
He really is.
Yeah.
It's a shame that you use somebody that funny for that bit part, but...
Well, but I think that's what makes his part so funny is because he's like so like overtly like positive and optimistic and like, you know, seems like really excited about this product, but also you can tell there's just like such a seediness to him of like how he approaches said product. Like, and I think that's where, you know, essentially this episode, I remember reading an article about this like not terribly long ago that talked about the fact that like people were disappointed that in season 2 there wasn't a Thanksgiving episode. And it makes sense because you have that first season is so solid. As you pointed out nicely, like so many Thanksgiving things happen in the episode. And then you get this follow-up and it's like, there's just a mention of Monica making a dessert for Thanksgiving and there's nothing else in the episode.
Yeah, we're stretching and calling it a Thanksgiving episode.
We really are.
Absolutely. But again, I just want to say justice for Julie. I think Julie totally gets host.
She totally gets host, yeah.
And would have been better for Ross.
Oh, because Julie's nice. They never give her any qualities where you're like, it's the will they won't they of the Ross and Rachel.
I do appreciate we get to see Chandler with a laptop that looks like a suitcase, which also has to be right around the time he did the AOL commercial with Jennifer Aniston.
Yes. Oh yeah, that it's so ridiculous about the things that he talks about. Like he's so like geeked out. He's like, we can do different fonts. It's also one of the Thanksgiving. Play Doom. Yeah, I think it's one of the Thanksgiving episodes that feels the most dated because there's so many things in it that just seem so of its time. And yeah,
but our classic line in this one though has to be the my wallet is too small for my 50s and my diamond toed shoes are too tight.
I'm Ross. 2 beautiful women are in love with me. Like yeah, it's. I think that's the thing is it's a good, as I think you kind of previewed this in our intro, it's a good episode from a Friends standpoint. It's just not a great Thanksgiving episode.
Agreed. So we're putting them both last.
Yes, that is definitely at the way bottom of my list. I don't even like necessarily including it. But now we get to talk about your favorite Friendsgiving episode, season 3. The one with the football.
I can ridiculously remember watching this the first time. I was at our friend Paul's house couple days before Thanksgiving, watching it in the living room. I think I was sitting with his mom, Mary was there. We just ended up, I don't even know, Paul probably has no recollection of this, but I remember watching it and loving the episode.
So you loved it from like the first time?
I loved it from the first time I ever saw it. Yep.
It's really funny, and it is one of the things I love is that like with the Friends characters, I love when they lean into their weird. And I think sometimes because the show was like very hip, it felt like or represented itself like, you know, what it is to be like, you know, in your 20s and in New York. I mean, a very hyper, you know, idyllic version of like what their apartments would be and what their lives would be if you're living in New York in your 20s. But that aside, But what I love about Friends is when they lean into their weird. And this, to me, is one of the first episodes where you really get to see how weird Monica and Ross are. Like, that they're both kind of psycho. Yeah. It's because they're so nerdy and strange. Like, and I'm not saying they try and play all the characters cool all the time, but I feel like it really leans into that a lot more, and they're fantastic.
Completely. When they just have that great moment of the two of them, we can't play. Wait, your mom won't let you? Yeah.
Yeah. Aw, my mom won't let me cross the street. Yeah. Yeah, it's great because it's the whole, like, mythos of, you know, is it Geller Bowl 6? Is when, like, everything kind of, that's when he gets injured, the heinous elbow throwing.
Okay, we got to call this out, and I think, you know, we found this out during trivia, and I'm looking at the Geller Cup right now, which is a replica, which has 7 winners. That was in Geller Bowl 6. There seems to be a bit of a discrepancy of...
Maybe they weren't always numbered, the Geller Bowls?
I don't know, I guess so.
You know, that's actually like that's a good call by you, because it is... Or, I don't know, the person on Etsy just added an extra,
No, I think that's accurate. I think
is it accurate?
Yeah, because, yes, I think there was just, you know, it's a moops.
Well, it's probably because Ross can't count because he's the worst human being ever, which is, like, completely, like...
Monica bashed his nose.
He's...
savage and illegal.
Ross is the living worst because he's no fun. He's so cranky during this. Like, listen, Monica is spiteful and probably a poor sport during this as well. But, like, I don't know. Ross is just so icky in this episode.
Ross is bad. He does keep complaining, and he's in the wrong every time.
And it's like how he gets mad at people. Like, because there's that one time he gets mad at Rachel, and I'm like, oh, dude, like, be cooler.
He keeps coming up with excuses of why he's losing.
Yes. And I think that's, like, the funny... I do love, like, the fun dynamics of this, like, the competitiveness and, like... And it's just, like, it's a fun episode because it's, I think, so different. It's not contained to the apartment or the coffee shop. Like, they're in, like, a different setting. You get, you know, Marha, you know, and the whole thing that happens with, like, Chandler and Joey is kind of funny as well, especially given what the next Thanksgiving episode gets to be about. It's actually really funny that that's what this one was about, of them, like, kind of fighting over a girl.
There are some things, like, I mean, the girls versus guys trope is not aged well.
Gross.
The cheesy "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" remix.
The dance sequence is terrible. Yes. Like, that's so bad. But can I tell you the best part of this? And I'm going to say it again. Phoebe gets so into football and gets weirdly good at it fast.
Yes.
Even though she has... Because my favorite part is when they get to the huddle and she's like, so what do you guys really think about Chandler? Right. And then Monica's like, I thought you said you knew what you were doing. She's like, I thought you meant in life. I love Phoebe.
Yeah, there's so many just funny parts about this whole episode. So, and I like the ending. Again, I really like the ending where the two of them are just holding the football at the end and being like,
how come it's always us left in the field holding the ball?
Yes.
I don't know. I guess the other people just don't care enough.
I think this might be the last time that Chandler likes sports, too. Because, you know, if anybody knows, like, Chandler loves sports for some point, and then at some point just makes a right-hand turn and hates and doesn't know anything about sports.
Well, is it episode... Because it's not episode 4. I forget which one it is. I want to say it's either 5 or 6. There's finally where they say, it's okay, Ross and Joey aren't here, you can watch the parade. Yeah, like, there is a point where they address it, but they never say why he stopped liking sports. They just kind of phase it out for him throughout the series.
Right. Well, we have the whole, which we'll talk about, where he's just randomly watching the football and doesn't know anything that's going on it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that is true. Yeah. So what makes this your favorite episode? Like, why is this one above all the others the one you'd say is your favorite?
I don't have, like, that specific. It's just like when I watched it, it was fun. It was funny. I think, it's about friendship and coming together. And I don't know. You know what? I'm being able to... It's just... I find it funny and enjoyable. Like, I don't think it's any deeper than that, other than it just... Yeah, it makes me smile.
I don't think it has to be any deeper than that. Like, and I think there's... there's the football aspect of it. It's fun. It's competitive. Yeah, it's such a solid episode.
I mean, I just love that they based an entire episode around them playing a pickup game of football. Like,
right.
And I love watching the background characters that are like, we have people in the background that look like they're on loop at times.
It's actually kind of creepy. You're like, are they in some glitchy Matrix situation? So that takes us to season 4. This is the one with Chandler in a box.
Yay.
Which, weird episode.
It was threefold.
He had reasons. They were threefold.
Oh, this episode, yes. I mean, I love and I hate this episode at the same time.
Do you hate it because of, like, what Chandler does, and it's like, you feel like it's unforgivable, or, oh, wait, never mind, I know why you hate it. Ryan, do you want to explain to the listening audience why you hate it?
Listen, if you take all the Thanksgiving stuff, if you take all of the core cast, I'm all there for it. But you have the cameo in this episode of Michael Vartan, who is the worst actor I've ever seen in an episode of TV ever in this episode.
You have very nice
He's so bad.
It is by far of all of...
It's cringy bad.
Dude, it's cringy bad. And also, their entire storyline is so cringy bad.
It's not great. I mean, I know that's supposed to be the joke, but it also just...
Monica, so you can actually say the phrase, that's not how your dad used to do it. Like, I think it's, here's the thing, and I think that's kind of the purpose of it. It's meant to lean into the cringe. It feels like something that should be more on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia than it should be on Friends. It's so cringy and weird.
All right, so this is the episode, yes. We have Monica get the ice in the eye, so she goes
Monica got ice in her eye and it hurts.
All right, maybe everybody was just struggling with some acting in this episode. She has to go. She meets Richard's son and decides to bring him over as like a date, which is a bold move, asking somebody to come over on Thanksgiving as a date. And then you have Chandler has stolen Joey's girlfriend.
Yeah. Kathy, who sucks.
I have a big problem with Kathy because they play this whole episode for Kathy, and you want to have this, like, care about Chandler and her. But anybody that knows the show, Kathy's gone, like, just a couple of episodes later.
If I remember correctly, I think it's 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I think they're together for an episode.
Which
and then
really makes me annoyed that you have this whole storyline to just throw that away 2 episodes later.
No, yeah, you're not wrong. It does seem, because you do this big thing. But you also get... because of this setup, so many great Joey moments in this episode.
Right.
Like, so many fantastic... He's doing some thinking. Like, it's...
So this is the episode, you're right, that Chandler, about the... watching the parade.
Is this the parade episode? Mm-hmm. Okay. There's the other great line that I love in this, it actually comes from Phoebe, because Phoebe doesn't really have a storyline much with this episode. She's just kind of there in the background. And I love it when Monica tries to go up to her and say, like, you don't think it's that weird, right? And she says, yeah, I see where you think I'd be your best bet, but no, I think it's twisted. Like, yeah.
I like, who has a great line in this, and is Gunther, when he's like, I thought you were Chandler.
Oh, yeah, that's so fantastic.
And also, R.I.P. To him, who had just, he passed
this year, yeah.
So, I like this episode. To me, is Chandler in the box is hysterical to me, and because it feels like a very Joey move.
Yeah, it's Joey's sense of justice, and like when Ross is like, you sentenced him, like, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's also like, because Joey's such... like, he's such, like, a tried and true friend. Like, I think he, as much as, like, I have to think that situation is so awkward, I love how he says to him, yeah, we're going to be okay. Like, and it's very sweet, and I think it's a good, like, and very unfortunately, there's nothing more that comes with, like, the Kathy relationship, although obviously we all benefit from that, because then we get the great Monica and Chandler relationship.
Of course.
But at the same time, I do like the in the box, and it's just, because it's so bizarre.
Chandler knocking on the box to get them.
Oh, yeah.
He has some great lines that he throws. I don't want to say, so, Timothy Burke walks in and looks weirded out. I'm going to let you know, if I walk into a party and some guy is in the box randomly, I think it's the greatest party in the world.
You mean you're not leaving?
I'm not leaving.
There's a human being in a box at a party.
Folks, if you invite me to a dinner party and there is just some random guy in a box, I'm all in.
I have at least 5 people in our lives that I feel like would do this.
The challenge is thrown out there for people.
Challenge thrown out. Next time we're over, make sure there's someone in a box who's doing some thinking. Which brings us to season 5. No boxes, but this is the one with the Thanksgiving flashbacks, where we get to see a little bit more about the group's kind of history with Thanksgiving and get some really, like, fun reveals.
Yeah, this is the highest ranked and the most popular episode of the entire Friends, and makes sense why.
I get why.
You know, I put it at 6 of my favorites, but honestly, I think those top 6 can go almost any way. They're all so funny, and I see why. There's so many major, again, using the quote or using the line of iconic things that come out of this for Friends and for Thanksgiving.
Well, and I think it's because you have, like, you know, so this is still when Monica and Chandler are dating in secret. So you have that, which is, like, kind of fun.
I gotta be honest, every year I forget that part
of it.
Oh,
really?
I'm always thinking that because they are dating, I forget that nobody else in the room knows that they're dating.
And I think, like, what I love about those, I love kind of, it's just them sitting in the living room. So again, kind of similar to, like, the contained space of, like, when they play football. It's just them sharing stories. But, like, my all-star here is Phoebe yet again, because I love that she talks about her past lives. I love what Chandler's like, a worse Thanksgiving than more turkey, Mr. Chandler. And she's like, did the little rich boy have a problem with the butler? Yes, mine's worse. But then it's like a flashback of a past life of, like, her being in the war. Like, I just...
More bandages. I need more bandages.
Oh, this is getting ridiculous. No, like, it's just what a rock star. But I mean, obviously, the focus of the episode is getting to see Ross, Monica, Chandler, and Rachel, like, in these, like, 80s Thanksgiving episodes. Do you have a portion or, like, one of the flashbacks that you favor from this episode?
Well, but we also have the flashback of Joey.
No, I'm saying of all of the flashbacks that we get.
To me, the Joey one's hilarious. I mean, it's not the longest. It's not what you're going to necessarily, like, I mean, you're going to remember. It's just Joey with that turkey on the head, you know, is hilarious. You're talking about Phoebe. I love that she comes in just kind of flighty and she's like, hello? Like, they're putting... When Monica comes in, she's putting parsley on Joey's head.
Like, Monica's not going to notice there's a person attached to the turkey.
And then Chandler coming in, he's, you know, doesn't know where he's at, but he thinks that he's got the best of them, even though he still looks ridiculous. Yeah, that to me cracks me up.
Yeah, I think mine, I love the fruition of what Monica's worst Thanksgiving ever was, with Chandler's toe getting cut off. There's so many great lines, like he says, like, the righteous mac and cheese, and, like, you know, and Monica being like, yeah, look great, and yeah, feel great, and yeah, my heart's not in trouble anymore, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's just...
I think, again, I was talking earlier about how much I think Courtney Cox is really funny. I think she's at her best when she's doing the seducing of Chandler, and she's got the box on her. She's trying to use the knife. Ooh.
Feel the cold blade on my body.
It's so goofy, hilarious. Like, and she's still got, like, she's using that different voice that she uses when she's younger. Like,
yes, because there is something that she does differently with her voice.
Yeah.
Rachel does it too.
Yes.
Yeah, they both do it, which I think is, like, a clever thing. But I think it's, again, comes back to my comment from earlier. I think the Monica character is best utilized the weirder they're making her. Like, the weirder and the stranger Monica is, I think the more she shines, because I think it plays to, like, Courtney Cox's comedic abilities. Yeah. But it's so fun. And then, I mean, you get that great ending moment with Monica with the turkey on her head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean...
Which you did to me.
I did do that to you.
Which I do have to explain. Like, so if you saw that video on our podcast Instagram, just really quick. So one Thanksgiving, Ryan went out to go so we were, like, cleaning up after dinner, and he went out to go take out the trash. And I heard a knock at the door, and it was him standing there with the turkey on his head dancing outside of our apartment. It was fantastic.
It's just what people do, right?
Yeah, it's what you do on the holiday, obviously.
I even just love them just sitting around talking, because you get some really... Maybe one of my favorite all-time lines, butternut squash, squatternut bosh.
You do say that all the time.
I love that Joey's just like, they're all so full, but Joey's like, I need something sweet. And he just starts eating a Hershey chocolate bar with almonds.
And now you always buy one every Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I eat that. Yeah, after my pumpkin pie, I have a chocolate bar.
Is a lot of our life dictated by Friends?
It seems that way.
It really does.
That might be something we need to talk in therapy about.
And speaking of therapy, that takes us to season 6, the one where Ross got high, which just... Again, so many great outburst moments.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I live for the Gellers being there. Because Mr. and Mrs. Geller are phenomenal.
They're really funny. I don't always love those two characters, but they're really good on this episode.
Yeah, because I love, like, all of the... And again, there's, like, so many, like, just funny little awkward gems in this. And this is the plot line here is that we have Ross and Joey want to go hang out with Janine and her hot dancer friends at their Thanksgiving. You have Monica has not told her parents yet that she is not only dating Chandler, but living with Chandler. You have Ross just being Weasley. I don't think there was like another part of that. And then Phoebe is having, dreams of a certain variety about Mr. Geller being a firefighter. And, Jacques
drinking that condensed milk.
And Jacques Cousteau, So
a few moments earlier, and that would have floored me. I'm still one.
Do you have any favorite moments from this episode?
I mean, there's just a lot of really funny lines in this episode.
Yes.
Like, the vomiting stories are funny.
Yes! Because that's right, this is the trifle episode.
This is the trifle episode, yeah. So Rachel gets to make dessert, but doesn't realize she's done a shepherd's pie and a trifle.
Yes.
And then we get this is probably my favorite Joey episode, because he's got so many just really funny...
I wanna go!
Well, yeah, you get to that moment. I mean, that is... Because I think that might... And I think this is probably the strength to why these Friends Thanksgiving episodes are so good. It's when they're all together.
Yeah.
And you don't always get that with everybody's got their different storylines and they're off, but all the storylines are going on together in these episodes. Yeah. And then you have the culmination in this episode with that great moment of, Ross and Rachel Ross and Monica going back and forth, kind of, telling on each other about different things that have happened over the years. And then you get Phoebe yelling, you get Rachel realizing about the travel, you get Joey wanting to go, and you have that great line by Mrs. Geller that's just like, that's a lot of information to get in 30 seconds.
She's a soul line you and I quote a lot too. But I think what's fun about that is because I love, again, like talking about like the weirdness, like I love the moments where like Monica and Ross like go back into their childlike state of like just being kind of like petty siblings as a lot of siblings are, like where you're just kind of like, again, you're tattling on each other and like they don't want to be
because
in trouble.
Because they start tattling on things they don't need to.
No, like the porch swing and like
the Playboys with the mailman.
Yeah. Like, there's just so many great things that, like, happen in that, and it's the timing of it and the pacing of, like, how that all gets revealed is so fantastic, because it's, like, the exact perfect pacing for all of the lines to hit. And I also think it's, like, again, it's just, like, that Ross being, like, super weird, like, that he can't admit to his parents that he got high one time.
Thanksgiving, not Truth Day. There's a mini moment here. I love when Joey's trying to teach everybody how to act, and he's like, tastes good. And then you get Monica say it. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but Joey is just looking at her, winking, smiling, like so proud of her when she's going, tastes good.
Oh my gosh, no, I've never noticed that before. Yeah. I think it's because I'm watching her do it because it's so hilarious. But, I mean, at one point, we do have to make the trifle someday, right? But, like, how Rachel makes it.
Well, I mean, how could you not? It's going to be good.
I feel like you would like it.
What's not to like? What's not to like? Custard? Good. Jam? Good. Meat? Good. I don't think it tastes like feet.
I can't have it. I'm a vegetarian. Aww. Okay, great.
You also get that line, Joey, where he talks to Ross and he's like, how you ever got 3 women to marry? I'll never know.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, as we've been like reviewing this and you've been talking about, because I think I was so focused on you're making a really good case. Like Joey does kind of win at Thanksgiving too. He's also, kind of fantastic.
Talking about the cameos, I have to say, Elle Macpherson on this show, so unnecessary. That character did nothing for the show.
Well, they do nothing for it. They get her and Joey together, and again, like they break up that episode because she doesn't want to hang out with Monica and Chandler. But, you know, it's another great, and I love that kind of manic, it feels like a perfect kind of like madcap holiday of like everything kind of goes a little bit wrong and haywire, but ends with where it needs to, where the Gellers love Chandler, you know. But then we get to something in the next season 7, that people do not like about Chandler. This is the one where Chandler doesn't like dogs.
Don't say it!
Looking at you, Tassie. So the essentially, like, the major through line in this is the fact that, like, Phoebe's been hiding a dog in the house. I think it's probably like one of the more major storylines she's given in any of the Thanksgiving episodes. She's got this dog, Clankers. All-time great dog name. Clankers is adorable.
Clankers looks like he's been on the streets for a few weeks.
I think that's what I like about him. He's scrappy, and I like it.
You think he's Tramp from Lady and the Tramp?
Oh, no, I love him extra. What do you think about this episode? Because it was not in either of our top 5, so, like, where do you come down on it?
There's moments.
Yeah.
I think the dog... I think the whole dog storyline, which is the major focus, is the least favorite of mine. And I think that's where it weighs it down. But some of the side stuff is funny. Tag, I actually don't mind his story in this one. You have the great states game with Ross, which is hysterical, which is something you and I play on now on Thanksgiving, which is name 50 states in 6 minutes.
6 minutes or less.
Which you think would be totally easy, but,
Well, maybe after our road trip this summer it'll be easier. We covered a lot of them.
Nobody cares about the Dakotas.
Yeah, there is, like, I think that's the thing. There's little moments like that. I don't think it's the tightest of the Friendsgiving. I think one of the great lines is the Joey. It's a moo point. It's like a cow. It's a moo. It's moo.
Is it me or is that the scene that makes sense?
Honestly, when I was watching it this year, I don't know if I'm correct in the head, but I was like, actually, Joey kind of makes sense with this. I might just start saying moo point.
Joey's like, it's like a big gerbil. That doesn't scare you?
Yeah. So I think this one it's serviceable. It's not the best of the Thanksgiving episodes, but it does take us to my favorite Thanksgiving episode, which is season 8, the one with the rumor.
Brad Pitt at his best.
Wow. Well done. Here's why I love this episode. Because that is exactly how a human being would act if Brad Pitt showed up to your Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, yeah. And I'd be very much like Chandler and be like, yeah, I'm going to stand over here because I think it's better for my ego.
I love this episode so much. It is... Because, like, here's Brad Pitt. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying anything revolutionary here. He's such a great comedic actor, and he plays this so well. And I think it's that high contrast of, like, this, like, otherworldly, attractive human being, but being this, like, kind of, like, dorky, petty, like, spiteful person who why he's at that Thanksgiving dinner is just beyond me. Because, like, Monica doesn't seem to have enough of a connection with him to have been the one to let him come over. It doesn't make sense. It's
Brad Pitt. You just invite him. If you look like Will Culver, you invite him over.
He looks good.
Yes. This is also when we're not supposed to get the Monica's not going to make a turkey.
Oh, yes.
And we get such a good Joey episode with this.
Yes, because his reactions to Will are phenomenal, because he seems kind of annoyed by him. Right. And then you get the whole, like...
Who the hell is this guy?
Seriously, who is this guy? Like, and you get all the great things with him and the turkey.
Turkeys. They're ugly, stupid, and delicious.
See, do you get so... And this is as we were talking about earlier, this is when Chandler all of a sudden doesn't know what sports are anymore, because they're watching the football game and they're like, who won? And they say the two different teams, and she's like, well, but it was a moral victory for the Green Bay Mermen. Right.
There's no Anderson.
Yeah. It's only like my favorite Bay.
It's just so many great lines that these episodes have.
Well, and I think that's, because obviously the shiny, distracting part of this is the fact that Brad Pitt is there, and you add that dynamic in. And unlike, I think, when you added, like, the Michael Vartan dynamic in a few seasons prior, I feel like this really enhances the episode. Like, and I feel like just the way everyone plays off of each other is really hilarious. It's still centered around the Thanksgiving dinner. But, like, I think just, like, kind of Joey's just focus solely on the turkey, and then, like, Phoebe's, like, very genuine reactions to Brad Pitt being in the room are just hilarious. Like, when she hugs him, she's like, it's just as I imagined it would be. Like, it's just
take off your shirt and tell us, Will. We get that other great Joey line, too, which is, Tribbiani's. We're not great thinkers. We're not world leaders. We can't run very fast, but damn it, we can eat. Also, 4th of July with no apple pie, or no Friday without 2 pizzas.
We do get 2 pizzas on Friday. Too much of these episodes rule our lives.
Although, Monica does Joey a little dirty on this, though, right?
She did not need to give him a 20-pound turkey.
Why did she have to make a 20-pound turkey?
I think she knew he could do it. I think she wanted to see it. The best is he puts on the maternity pants.
Yes. Everybody needs turkey pants.
I'm going to say this. How we do not have a pair of turkey pants is beyond me. Because it would just be smart. We try and dress cute on Thanksgiving. It's a fool's errand. We should have turkey pants, damn it.
Jeans have no give.
That's true.
Although, this is something we found out in our trivia by our friend and trivia master Steve. What I never knew was this is where the meat sweats line was coined. I always assumed that it came before that, and Joey just says it on the episode. But no, actually, the Friends made that line.
Yeah.
And coined that phrase, which I thought was really interesting.
I remember my mind kind of being blown by that because I would have thought similarly because it obviously seems like something that happened. So someone had, the fact that nobody had ever said it before, but that it gets coined because this is kind of great. It's just one of the many reasons why I love this episode so much. I know you do too. It's
hot stuff.
Hot stuff. Remember how into dinosaurs we were?
But it has your favorite line too.
What?
Yams?
Oh! Screw it, give me the yams. Well, you work so hard. Yams!
Oh, I mean, yeah, Brad Pitt is just... And it's one of those things that, unfortunately, I know that they got... Like, it was funny at the time because they were married, but it still kind of holds up.
Oh, it's
knowing that they didn't stay together.
Oh, he's really got that sexy smolder in that eye. Yeah, he's so great in this. Oh, just an all-time classic, like, Friends episode. And it's just... To me, it's actually probably one of my all-time Friends episodes, period, but it's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the peak.
Yes, because the last two are...
They're not bad, but they certainly don't hold up to... I mean, like any sitcom, you have your middles, and then, it's up the hill and then down the hill.
Yeah, so we get episode 9. This is the one with Rachel's other sister. So the through line here is that Monica and Chandler are using their fancy china for the first time. You have Ross...
Do people still buy fancy china? Is that still a thing?
I think that's probably a thing. I just think we're not fancy people.
Fair.
We have a
so
troll
what are we
doll
going
on
to
our
give
table.
when the Queen comes over? What are we going to use?
I'm going to use my Harry Potter plates because they're
That's
British.
Hey, and we got screen replica Harry Potter silverware to go with it.
But, so you have that. You have it's Emma's Thanksgiving, and then Rachel's other sister's played by Christina Applegate shows up.
Christina Applegate is really funny, though.
She's so, really fantastically odious on this episode. It's great because she's just so perfectly annoying. And so you have that going on, and then this is the Joey storyline where he was supposed to be in the parade and forgot, and is trying to come up with a lie, which makes some really funny interactions between him and Phoebe.
I love when they make the announcement that it's stars from Days of Our Lives, and Chandler and Joey's just reaction.
Yes. Aren't you one of the stars of Days of Our Lives? Yeah, it's a really fun episode. I think the whole, the hilarity of the, who gets Emma if Ross and Rachel were to die, it's just, that all plays kind of funny. I think I really noticed this time, that Phoebe's reactions to, Monica's, freaking out about the plate. You can just tell how annoyed Phoebe's getting, slowly throughout the episode, which I found kind of, a funny thing to just be following. And it's also good, too, because I think, you get to see kind of where Rachel came from, that superficiality of where she kind of starts in the show to where she is by that point. It plays well.
I'm with you. Again, a bunch of funny lines too with it. You have I think Ross is probably my favorite in this episode because he's so snarky to Amy.
Yeah.
And it's just that under tone. I find some of the moments that he has with her just really funny.
Amy, I'm just gonna stop you right there. All me. Yeah. He's actually, this is a very funny Ross episode.
When she's like, "Can I take this upstairs?" We don't live there, but sure.
Sure. Yeah. He does have some really great, because you can tell he's just so immediately annoyed by her and has every reason to be.
And I do like the dynamic of them, discussing and the ups and downs of choosing Chandler and Monica and how happy they are, but then Chandler coming down from that when he realizes that he doesn't get the kid, the baby.
Yeah. Somehow I survived whatever killed the three of you. Yeah. It's just, it's a very, but I mean, I think, when you say it's coming down, it's I really love that episode. It's just, the problem is we watch them always in sequential order, and when it's the one with the rumor before it, and then you get that, it's this one's funny, but it's not as funny. And then you get to season 10. And I think there's a very key reason why I don't like the season 10 episode. It's the one with the late Thanksgiving. And to me, it's because they're not all together the entire episode.
Exactly. They separate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why you did that on your last episode. You knew it was your last season.
Yeah.
Why would you pull them all apart?
You seem angry.
Can I tell you I feel a little angrier about it than I thought it was going to be, if I'm being honest with you? I don't think I realized I was, like, this affected by...
You want to start an I Hate Season 10 club?
I kind of hate it. I'm not like a fan of season 10. There's some moments, but, like, yeah.
We get to find out about Hemingway Bing.
I mean, what? Name one book. I do feel like that's how we would name a kid, though. I do think Joey has a great line in this. Don't you put words in people's mouth. You put turkey in people's mouths.
Yeah, and listen, there's moments that I think the floating heads is hilarious and one of the best bits of the entire series.
Yeah, Joey's doing that weird thing with his eyes. Yeah, that part is really funny.
Yeah, and but again, that's when they're all together. Yes. So it's
better. It's better to go. The only thing I think I wish they had done with the episode is that I think it would have been a really good pairing if they had all made grilled cheeses at the table.
Yeah.
Because it would have been so fun and referential back to season 1. But, like, it's not a bad episode. There's really funny things in it, like, with their interactions, like, when they're, like, kind of separated. But it's so much better when they're all in the same space together.
Does an adoption agency call you on Thanksgiving to let you know you were chosen?
Most unrealistic thing I've ever heard.
I mean, we know some stuff about adoption and how the system works, but in their scenario, it wasn't the baby was born and you're going right away. It was there was going to be months, so it was like I feel like that was maybe a Friday phone call, but I don't know. I guess you know what? It's such a happy moment.
Yeah,
but, you know?
And you get that great Monica line about like the Thanksgiving rules, like or that great earlier line in the episode. She was like where Phoebe was like, you'd be in competition with yourself. And she's like, that's my favorite kind. Like,
we also find out that water balloon beats fire, and both beat all paper, rock, and scissors.
Yeah. I love this. Joyce says, water balloon! Yeah. Even as I'm saying it now, though, I'm like, there are some really, like, fun
the false
moments.
mugging.
Oh, yeah. Hey!
That's some real gentle comedy.
No, yeah.
Like, yeah, again, it's one of those things of when they're separated, it's not as, I don't know. The more we talk about this episode.
You want an adult Thanksgiving Day spelling bee? Yes. Y-E? Yes. Yes. There are some really funny lines.
Oh, Rachel does it. Congratulations. Joey realizes he can't feel his ears.
Yeah.
Although I do, you know what I have a problem with this episode?
What's that, Levy?
Another bad mark and bad, name for Brussels sprouts.
Yeah,
Come on,
Brussels
people.
sprouts are delicious.
Again, like Julie, justice for Brussels sprouts, people.
I feel like you really are still upset about the Julie storyline on Friends.
It doesn't bother me as much as
the Brussels sprouts thing?
Well, yeah.
Oh, the Emily storyline?
Yes.
All right, that's not Thanksgiving news, so...
Folks, I am Team Emily all the way
We know. Hey, Rachel Green, whatever. There's a club you can join.
Well, it could go for a turkey club.
So, thinking about this, do you have... And I know we have been, essentially doing a radio play of all the episodes. We've been quoting the episodes a lot. Do you have a favorite quote or an overall, favorite moment from the 10 episodes?
I mean, it's been, like you said, an hour of just gushing over all these episodes and having fun talking about them. It's the dumbest one. Squatter Nut Bosh. I say that on a daily basis. Anytime I make a mistake, that's how I react and say, Squatter Nut Bosh. I don't know why it is stuck, but yeah, that's just for personal reasons, I guess.
I appreciate that. I'm going to say, I think, instead of a quote, because I obviously think we've realized we quote this a lot, I think an all-time favorite moment is, I love the final toast on the first episode. Yeah. About, Chandler just saying if everything had worked out, we wouldn't have been having this. And then that's, I like how that ends because I think it sets up what the tradition ends up coming. They're always going to have Thanksgiving together. And I just, really like seeing, kind of the origin point of why a tradition was born. So I really like that part.
I agree completely.
So our episodes have been watched. We are approaching the holiday season. So the question of the time, of course, is... Ryan Tocci, what are you thankful for?
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun on this episode, and so that's a question to, do you go kind of, how emotional, how heavy, because I feel like I live a very blessed and happy life, and I'm very thankful for so many things. We have amazing family, so many amazing nieces and nephews and, siblings, and so thankful for all of them. Thankful for, our friends, that we get to call family. Thankful to all of you that listen. Most of all, I'm thankful to you, because you make every day legitimately a blessing and, a complete joy. So I am, so grateful and thankful for that each and every day. And then, I think this year, one thing I want to kind of say is, not to get too serious, but I'm thankful for therapy.
Right on, man.
Because, we've lived through a really weird time in this last 2 years, and, I think everybody is affected in a great deal by that. And on top of the fact that we all have kind of our personal journeys that we follow, I think we're finally starting to live in a time where mental health is being talked about more openly, and I think that is extremely important. I mean, every day can bring new challenges, and every day is a new journey, but I know for myself, I'm grateful for my personal therapist. I'm grateful for the, the profession as a whole. And, what I'm trying to say here is just, like, anybody listening to, just know you're loved and that you're cared for and that there are people out here to listen. So, kind of going back to you, what are you thankful this season?
I am thankful for this lovely fall that we were having. It's hard to follow that up. I'm going to be honest with you, love. I think what you said is really important. I'm thankful for people taking time for themselves, self-care. I'm thankful for people who are kind and want to reach out with love and kindness during this time. It's so important to be good to each other. It's always important, but it feels especially important right now. I'm thankful for you and this wonderful journey that we are taking, not just this podcast journey, like our life's adventures and all of the fun we have. We have wonderful friends and family. I feel very lucky and fortunate. So I feel incredibly thankful, and of course, incredibly thankful for all of you who listen. I don't think you can probably properly understand how much it means to us that you tune in twice a month to hear us talk about movies. It really does mean a lot to both of us. If you're not currently following us on social media, follow us at How Could You Podcast on Instagram, at How Could You Pod on Twitter. You can always email us suggestions or maybe what you're thankful for to howcouldyoupodcast@gmail.com. That shameless self-promotion at the end here feels really weird after our heartfelt thankful.
I'm thankful for it.
And also stay tuned not only for the cocktail of the episode, but maybe that thing I was teasing at the beginning of the episode.
Ooh, the cocktail episode might be nice for Thanksgiving Eve for all folks.
It will be.
And until next time, from the How Could You Podcast, have a very happy Thanksgiving and enjoy the Odyssey.